Hello, welcome to Captain Dorja's Armory. This is Captain Dorja. We're on the 8.8 test server, and via the mission interface, Wargaming put up a mission where all you had to do was play one battle. You got 2 garage slots, and in those garage slots, they gave you the 112 and the T-34-3, the new Chinese Tier 8 premium vehicles that are on the 8.8 test build. Right now, we're looking at the T343. This is a Tier 8 premium Chinese medium tank. We're going to do a little bit of comparison, and then we're going to get some battles in this thing, and we'll have some impressions. Now, first of all, if there's anyone who plays World of Tanks that doesn't know this, they've been living under a rock at the bottom of the ocean. You know, the Type 59 is the original Chinese tank in the game. Tier 8 medium, largely considered to have just been heinously unbalanced. It's been nerfed so many times now that, like, anybody who still clings to that is basically retarded. But, the one thing about the Type 59 that was kind of always so unbalanced is that it's really fun to play. And so people bought them like crazy, and they were getting spammed like a lot. And anytime the Type 59 was ever on sale, it was just you just saw so many of them in every match. You'd get like 4 or 5 Type 59s on a team, they'd wolf pack together, and boom, the enemy team was really in trouble unless they could counter Type 59 successfully. So they've taken it out of the store. It's no longer available in the store, like, basically at all, ever. You can only get them now by winning contests, which is, that's pretty hard. So, basically, as a replacement, they're putting out this thing, the T-34-3, and I can tell you already, this thing is a complete other can of worms from the Type 59. Type 59 is more of your standard medium tank, and this thing is following the high-tier Chinese medium tank doctrine of really, really, really big gun. So let's take a look at this thing, and then we'll put it into battle. We're obviously going to compare it to the Type 59, because that's the thing that it's going to get compared with the most. So let's just bring up the details on the two tanks. And let's take a look. So they have the same hit points, 1,300, approximately the same weight. The Type 59 is about half a ton heavier, and they have the same engine horsepower. So acceleration of the Type 59, not one of its strong points. So it looks like we're going to have similar acceleration on the T-34-3, maybe a tiny little bit better. Comparable power-to-weight ratios, 14.18 on the Type 59 and 14.38 on the T-34-3. So, acceleration from a stop, going up hills, when you have to do a lot of maneuvering, not thinking that's going to be the strong point of the T-34-3. Speed limit, 50 kilometers per hour, so it doesn't have quite the same top speed as the Type 59. Same traverse speed, 46 degrees per second. Slightly worse hull armor, only 90 millimeters versus 100 on the Type 59. And doesn't look like it's quite as sharply sloped, although actually it looks like it's slightly more sloped. And the hull itself is a little higher up. So I'm thinking the hull armor, not only is it a little thinner, but I think it'll be more easy to hit the lower plate. And just generally, I think your hull armor is going to be penned by pretty much everything you face in this tank, except probably Tier 6s. I think most Tier 7s will be able to pen the hull. Tier 8s, easily. It's pretty easy to pen a Type 59 frontally, and that's got better armor. So I don't think the T-34-3's hull armor is going to be that difficult to pen with Tier 8s, and definitely not with Tier 9s. Turret armor. We're just going to ignore the side armor because the side armor on both tanks is not thick enough to really consider, but it's even worse on the 34-3 than it is on the 59. Turret armor, though, is fairly comparable. 200 on the front of the Type 59 versus 190 on the front of the T343, so not quite as good. 130 on the side of the Type and 120 on the side of the T34, and 60 on the rear of both. So you have the similar shaped turret. I should think that this tank's turret armor is going to be pretty good. And unless people fire premium rounds at you or hit your commander's hatch, you should be able to weather a pretty good shower of shells frontally with this tank. Same view range and same signal range, 380 and 600. Now the next thing that we want to look at is we want to look at guns. Because the guns on these two tanks are really, really different, and that's really going to affect your playstyle. So the Type 59 mounts a 100mm gun, Type 59, and the T343 mounts the gun 122mm D-Tech 25TA. So the 122mm, as you would expect, fires quite a bit slower, 4.17 rounds per minute versus 6.9. It has slightly worse penetration of only 175 versus 181. It's got superior penetration with premium shells, 250 versus 241, and this tank fires, the T343 uses heat rounds instead of APCR, so you don't get the same drop-off at range, but the effect of spaced armor and hitting the tracks will be more pronounced with the heat rounds, and also the heat rounds aren't quite as good against sloped armor. So it's a 6 of one, half dozen of the other. The biggest difference is, aside from rate of fire, is the damage. Type 59 does 250 average per shot. T343 is going to do 390. That comes at a price, though. Accuracy and aiming time are horrible. 0.46 and 3.4 second aiming time versus 0.39 and 2.9 second aiming time. Now, the Type 59's gun is not known for being particularly accurate or fast aiming, but compared to the T343, it's going to look like an E50. You know, the Type 59 is going to be a super sniper compared to this thing. So you're definitely going to want to be in close with the T343. You want to be in close with the Type 59. So with this thing, you are definitely going to want to be in close. Now, even though I haven't gone into battle yet, I know already that this tank essentially has no gun depression whatsoever, so that's going to be a really large factor in the playstyle. And one thing that I'm very curious about is the probability that this tank gets ammo racked and catches fire. One of the ways that the Type 59 is balanced is that it has 5 ammo racks located through the tank, and I think 3 or 4 fuel tanks. It's got a lot of fuel tanks. So a wet ammo rack on a Type 59 is basically mandatory, and so is safe stowage for your loader. Now, the T343, I don't know if this tank is going to be prone to being ammo racked or being set on fire. Excuse me. So I've gone with a standard setup of rigs, tank gun rammer, vertical stabilizer, and improved ventilation. The vertical stabilizer is a must to cut down the aiming time, and the ventilation just to improve all crew skills. I just realized right now, since these are both Chinese premium vehicles, I can use the crew from my Chinese medium tanks in the T343, so I'm going to put a 4-skill crew into this tank. So let me just swap out my crew real quickly, and we will take this thing into battle. I doubt the queue time is going to be very long, since I'm sure there's quite a few people testing these tanks right now, but I'll pause the recording before we actually get into battle. So, without further ado, T343 in action. Alright, so we're loading into battle in the T343, and you can see that a lot of the people on the test server right now are testing T343s. We have 2, 4, 5 on the enemy team, and 4 on our team. Now, before I entered battle, I looked in the garage to see what the average damage per minute of this tank was, so that I could compare to the Type 59. And you've got about 1,600 and change on this tank. And on the Type 59, your damage per minute is about 1,700 and change. So we have a little less damage per minute output, but we have massive, massive alpha damage. Now, a thing to consider with this tank is, if this tank is getting preferential matchmaking, it means it's only going to fight tiers 6, 7, 8, 9. No tier 10s. So, with a tank that doesn't have to fight tier 10s and is often going to be top tier against, well, teams with a lot of tier 6s and 7s. Bear in mind that your 390 alpha damage is going to mean that against a tank like a 3601H, which has got some of the highest health of any tier 6 in the game, you're going to knock him out in 3 hits. It's going to be 3 hits that are, kind of slowly spread out at about 15 seconds reload per shot, but you're going to smash that guy. If you encounter something like a Cromwell, if you hit that guy once, he's going to have just lost like 40% of his health. So as we're rolling up the hill, let's take a look. That's my maximum gun depression. That is not encouraging. You can see most of the enemy T-34s are down on the 8 line, and they've got some Super Pershings down there, so that's kind of interesting. And we've got 3 T343s, 5916 Scout, and a T32 coming hill. Not really that surprised to see the hill fairly empty. People are, oh god, here they come. There's the accuracy of this gun at work. I fired at the lower plate, and I hit the turret of that T-34-3, and I've just lost a huge portion of my health to that SU-122-44. With this gun, I'm going to have a really hard time penetrating his armor as they position themselves on the reverse slope. So you can see the side armor on the T-34-3 is weak. I was able to hit that guy in the side, and even though I don't have very much, even at the angle that he was facing, I was able to penetrate. I thought there was a good chance that would be eaten by his tracks or side armor, but it was not. Now, this tank is definitely not a sniper, but that doesn't mean I can't look for snipe shots. The SU-122-44 easily able to penetrate my frontal armor, just like I expected. And because of the low profile enemy tank destroyers and my lack of gun depression, I actually cannot return fire. So I need to get a lower position to engage these guys from, or else I won't even be able to shoot. Side shots, good. Let's put him out of action. So we've got a 112 behind us attacking the other way. We have a T-32 and another T-34-3 attacking this guy. You can see my gun depression problems, but I get through his armor and take him out. And I don't know if he fired or not, but either way, I am still alive. So let's go back up this other T-34. Looks like the enemy is about to push. So we put a big hit through the side of the 112. He's one-shottable. If I can... lag spike. Okay, well, he got away on a lag spike. That's always cool. 28 prototype foolishly coming around side first and not firing at the target that he could one-shot kill, possibly. So we put a shot through his side armor, and, well, he doesn't even do anything back. Firing at the weak point on the turret of the T-28 prototype, we bounce off, but he also shot our turret and bounced off. Now the 112 looks like he's trying to get into a side scrape position. Again, going for the weak point on the turret side, on the turret front, unable to penetrate. But we've got the T-32 rolling around behind. The 112 is fired. Let's see if I can, let's test his front armor. He's not going to give me a chance. Well, let's just blast through his side and kill him. So he's dead. Enemy Chaffee coming up behind us. Well, I don't really feel like letting a Chaffee shoot me in the butt, so I'm going to come down behind him. Actually, yeah, I'm going to. I thought about trying to snipe those guys, but with the terrible gun depression of this tank and my low health, I'd be giving them a good angle to fire at, and I would have a pretty bad angle myself, so I decided against it. And we've got a 112 squaring off against a Super Pershing. That should be a fairly easy match for the 112, I would think. But you never know. That Chaffee might kill our 28 prototype, and they've got T-34-3s rolling our other flank. So let's help this 112 out. Boom! Big side shot, big side shot. You can see the Super Pershing can't get through the turret on the 112, and the 112 has no problem penetrating the weak points of the enemy Super Pershing. So this match is well in hand. Let's see if I can polish off that T343 over there. I started aiming first. He snapshots at me, missed. I snapshot back, missed. He'll reload first, but I've got more friends than he does, so I should be fine. Let's just take my time, and, well, that T69 will easily finish him before I get into action. So I'm expecting their T343 to cut across the field, or at least drive through there. Pop a snapshot, and we actually hit him. That was a really lucky shot. Oh man, that last shot was a miracle. I was about half aimed, just guessing at when he would come out, and there was a truck in the way too. I'm amazed that I hit that guy. So you can see the effectiveness of this tank as a moneymaker or an experience grinder. We managed to pull in 100,000 credits, 100,000 experience. Man, that would be awesome. I could get a lot of upgrades with 100,000 experience. So 100,000 credits and almost 4K experience on the double. Got a sniper medal with a .46 accuracy gun. Let's check out the Litany of Destruction. We hit pretty hard, and almost every one of these shots was some sort of critical damage. Let's see, ammo rack on the 112, track, observation device, track. Part of why I'm looking at these crits is I want to see if tanks like these are getting ammo racked or fuel tank hits a lot, because that might play into whether or not I put wet ammo racks or something like that on them. So I managed to come in second in damage. Our 112 put out 3,500. That's a lot. I put down 3,000. Really, the only other person in a new tank that did good was this guy. He did pretty good. So we fired 13 shots and got 12 hits, 9 of which penetrated. My bounces, I bounced one off the turret of another T-34-3, which is to be expected. I bounced one off the front, and actually, I did not bounce off the SC-122. I bounced two off the front of the turret of a T-28 prototype, which is interesting, because that weak point that I was firing at and hitting is actually very, very weak. So let's take a look at our everything else. I got 10K credits for an event, or a mission. I don't know what the mission was, so I only made 90,000 there, but, and the game is not auto-resupplying ammunition for some reason, even though that option is ticked. I don't know what is going on here. So I'll just fill my ammo back up. For some reason I didn't have to buy any ammo, but my ammo cost in that battle would have been about 13,000 credits. So I would have made about 79,000 credits on that battle. So you can see that this tank makes pretty good money, and the experience, well, I was at double, so it was good experience. So let's get a couple more battles in this thing, and then we'll see what we get for an impression here. Alrighty, we're loading into battle again in the T-34-3. We're on the map Comarin, which has just been redone for this build of the test server, and immediately my old instincts from Comarin are coming back in. I always went left, no matter which base I spawned in, because the capture points used to be here and here, and nobody ever went to defend your capture point, which was always on the left. So the moment I saw the map, I prepared to go left. Old habits die hard. I'll probably go left anyway, just because. So we're in the T-34-3, we're on Comarin. No matter how this battle goes, I'm going to include it in this video, just because I want to see how matches on Comarin are going to play out, even in a test build where people are just zerging, basically. So again, we have a lot of T-34-3s in the battle. There's actually artillery in this match, so we're going to have to watch out for that. That guy, I wanted to turn right here. I'm looking for the spot where I can climb out of the water. Looks like I can probably get out right there. We're going to go for it. This is pretty risky. You can ford this water, but I haven't done it a lot, and it's really, really open on the other side of the water. So I could take some pretty serious punishment for that. But I made it. I'm across the bridge sooner than everybody else. and I'm more advanced, so that's good. Alright, we're pressing our luck here. I just fired a pot shot at that guy just because, kind of like suppressing fire, basically. And now I am in cover from his return fire behind a non-destructible building. So let's see if we can use this firing port. We can, but our gun depression is so bad that if we hump up onto the building's actual structure, that we actually have problems depressing the gun enough to hit. So that guy just got ammo racked, ammo rack explosion. That's something that I just kind of want to make note of. Like I said before, the Type 59 is really prone to getting ammo racked, and so I just want to keep track on whether or not I see a lot of T343s getting ammo racked. I was able to put a good hit into that enemy T343. I penned his front hull. I don't know if it was the upper plate or the lower plate, but just kind of illustrating the fact that this tank's hull armor is very bad. The enemy Tiger P tried to ford the river and drown himself. Nice. So yeah, just note to others, you basically can't ford the water here. It's too wide. So me and this 112 are going on a flanking mission. I've been detected. Somebody is shooting at me. The fire is coming from the island, and it's a T-71 firing heat. Pro, dude, you are so pro using your T-71 heat rounds. Those might not have actually been heat rounds. So let's see if the artillery is hiding out in these woods. This was always where artillery hid before. And look, there's the GW Tiger P. The terrain here is so bumpy that I didn't think I would be able to manage a shot on the move. So I actually had to wait until I got that close before firing. Now, I happen to be in the capture circle, but I'm not trying to cap the base. There's just good cover right here. So I'm just gonna use this good cover. I'm gonna use the cover that's available right here, and the fact that I'm sitting in the capture point to try and pressure the enemy. I just want to make them react, and they're reacting. Here comes a T-34-3 all by himself. He's coming back to reset the cap. Good for him. Little does he know, I don't give a hoot about capping. I just want to draw them out to attack. And that's exactly what he's doing. Oh, God, giant lag spike. Luckily, he tried to snapshot me, and snap shooting with this gun is basically a terrible idea. It's like a KV-1S. First rule of the KV-1S, only fire fully aimed shots. Now that shot definitely hit the enemy 112. Let's try and find out if it actually went in. So we're gonna... Ooh, T-71 shooting at me. Good for me that I don't care about capping the base. I'm just trying to pressure the enemy. So my shot on that 112 hit for sure, but it did not go in. May have hit his turret, or it may have just bounced off his front plate. So let's try again. We bounced off his front armor, so the front hull of that 112 is looking pretty sturdy. And match over, we win. Not quite as strong of a performance from the T-34-3 as last time, but I spent a lot less time in actual heavy combat, and I still pulled down 1,000 experience and 65,000 credits. Nowhere near the top in damage, only 686, which basically means I put in 2 shots. In reality, I put in 3. One on a low health arty, one on a like 2/3 of a shot worth of damage on the T-71, and 1 real hit into the T-34-2. So let's see. I damaged this guy's ammo rack, and then another guy who hit him blew his ammo rack up. So, you know, that looks like just run-of-the-mill ammo rack damage, though. We fired 7 shots. We hit with 6 of them. Only 3 penetrations. So, I'm thinking I bounced... Well, I know I bounced 2 shots off the 112. I'm not sure what the 3rd bounce was. But, you know, just kind of illustrating the gun's penetration is really not that good. We spent 7K on ammo and 6K on repairs, so not too expensive to run this tank. Would have made a profit of 42K without the event, which I don't know what the event is. So, again, just a good example of the earning potential of this tank, and really, that's what most premium tanks are all about. free experience earning and crew training and money making. So good impressions so far. Let's take her out for one more. Alright, so we're loading into battle again with the T343, and as you can see, everyone's out testing the new Chinese premiums. We got 3 112s on the enemy team and 4 on our team. And our team's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 T343s. The enemy team has 2, 4, 5 of their own. So it's a real Chinese day, I guess. We're on Lakeville, standard battle. This is kind of more of a map that people are. This is a map that people are more familiar with, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes down. Just to mention it, as I'm playing these battles, I haven't played any other battles in this tank. This is only my 3rd battle in this tank. The Himmelsdorf match was my 1st battle ever. The Commerin match was my 2nd battle ever. This Lakeville battle is my 3rd battle ever. So what the heck? So I'm not coming to this tank with any prior experience, not even on the test server. I don't have any of the high tier Chinese mediums, so it's not like I've played the WZ120 or the 121 at all. This is just pure, applying what I know about World of Tanks to a new vehicle. Again, just taking a look, that's my maximum angle of gun depression, which is pretty terrible. So, some comments on some other things. The mobility of the tank is pretty good. It is fairly fast, but it's not a real flat-out burner. It's not as fast as... It's not the fastest medium out there. I'm actually pretty kind of pleasantly surprised with the acceleration. I feel like it accelerates better than my Type 59, or at least it accelerates about the same. It doesn't accelerate worse. The hull armor is definitely worse. If you get shot on the hull with this tank, it is going in. Right after I say that, I get shot on the hull and it bounces. But that was at an extreme angle and not a very good shot. He was also firing up at it. So we have some enemy T-34-3s over there. I'm just looking for a shot. Not getting any. I have no idea what those people were firing at. That guy left that spot like 2 minutes ago. So we are losing 2 tanks to 0 right now. Okay, that was bad. I just lost. See, that's the power of this alpha damage. I just took 2 hits. I'm down to 400 health right now. I had to repair kit. I had to just get the hell out of there. So I'm going to try and get some shots onto these guys in the middle. It's going to be really tough. Not only because they're at long range, but also because of the deployment of enemy forces throughout the city. Just finding an avenue to fire down is going to be pretty tough. And I'm not going to get that avenue. Oh god, a 110. I don't want to be shooting at a 110 with this. I'm actually going to load some heat rounds to try and deal with this 110. The problem is the 110 has easily the penetration to deal with me. He has way higher damage per minute. And he's on higher health. So you can see right there, we're able to pen the 110 with a heat round, but just no problem. The 110 could just DPM me, so he takes me out pretty quickly, pretty efficiently. We're going to back out of this battle now. Alright, so we've had a couple of battles in the T-34-3, and that last one there on Lakeville really actually kind of showed the weaknesses of this tank. Well, it's sort of awkward, because not only did it show the weaknesses, but it showed the primary strength and how that strength works. When I took those 2 hits right there, I lost all my health instantly. The alpha damage on this thing is just substantial. So after taking 2 hits, I was out of the battle for all intents and purposes. But you really got a good example of the weaknesses of this tank as well, because when that 110 came around the corner on me, he just had his reload was just so much quicker than mine that even though I could have potentially 2-shot killed him with his gun and my armor, there was no way in hell I was going to live long enough to fire twice. So anyway, overall, I have a favorable impression of this tank. I think what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to kick my Super Pershing bag for gold and pick up one of these babies, because this thing is sweet. Generally, what I would surmise of this tank is your hull armor, even though it's 90 millimeters thick, which is only 10 thinner than a Type 59, your hull armor is basically garbage. I managed to get some pretty good bounces in the first battle, but most of those were coming in at a really steep angle, and they were hitting my upper plate at angles like this, which is just, except from flat, which is stupid to even shoot at right there. You've got all this to hit. So, you know, I don't know what their deal was. But I don't think the gun depression in this tank will really be that big of a problem. You'll have to get used to it. But, I mean, I play enough Russian tanks and German tanks and other Chinese tanks that have, you know, 2-3 degrees of gun depression, maybe 4 degrees of gun depression. So going from that to having like 1 degree of gun depression, not really that big of a deal. If I played like American and nothing else, where I was used to having 7 to 10 millimeters or degrees of gun depression, and I suddenly switched to 1, yeah, that would really suck. But that's not me. I played pretty much everything. So I'm thinking hull armor on this tank, basically it's going to be non-existent. You're not ever going to really want to trust in it too much. Turret armor, though, pretty good. It'll be hard to hull down because you have such bad gun depression, but if you can, say, get a maybe a wreck that's on the battlefield. If you can get a wreck in front of you, something like that, your turret is going to be really effective at bouncing shots as long as you can get them to shoot at the front. And with your just insane alpha damage, I really feel like this tank is going to be quite a force to be reckoned with. The mobility was pretty good. It was at least as good as the Type 59, maybe a little better. Overall, I'm pretty impressed. I think this tank is going to be really fun. I'm really looking forward to having one. I hope you found this video helpful. Feel free to hit me up in the comments, like and subscribe if you enjoyed this or if you thought this was useful. I definitely like feedback, and I'll definitely reply if you leave comments or anything like that. Feel free to email me, CaptainDorgesArmory@gmail.com. If you have anything you want to say, or if you have replays you want to send in, please don't send in test server replays if you do that, because probably by the time I watch them, the test server will be down and I won't be able to watch them. So just don't send test server stuff. Anyway, until next time, this is Captain Dorja, and just remember, guys, you can never have enough big guns.